Imagine the raw power of the Atlantic. Waves crashing against a thin strip of sand known as the graveyard of the Atlantic. 4 centuries. Brave souls manned the lighthouses here. Solitary sentinels against the unforgiving sea. But what happens when the watchers themselves vanish without a trace? Today, we're rediving into one of the most chilling maritime mysteries of the Outer Banks. The vanishing lighthouse keepers. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a beautiful but treacherous coastline, has been the site of countless shipwrecks. To guide sailors through these dangerous waters, a series of iconic lighthouses were built. Men of incredible fortitude were hired to keep the lights burning. They were known for their reliability, their unwavering dedication to their duty. The idea of one of them simply abandoning their posts was unthinkable. Yet, that's exactly what appears to have happened. Not just once, but in several baffling cases that have echoed through history. Let's travel back to the late 19th century. Picture the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. Its iconic black and white stripes, a beacon of hope for sailors. The life of a keeper here was one of isolation and routine. Every single day involved cleaning the massive lens, trimming the wicks, and winding the clockwork mechanism that rotated the light. It was a relentless, demanding job. They recorded every detail in their logbooks. The weather, passing ships, any unusual occurrences. These logbooks are our windows into their isolated world, but sometimes they are the last testament left behind. One of the most famous and perplexing tales comes not from the Outer Banks itself, but from a similar, equally isolated outpost that captures the essence of this mystery. The Flannan Isles, in Scotland. In December 1900, 3 experienced keepers vanished. A passing ship noted the light was out, and a relief vessel was sent to investigate. What they found was a ghost station. The dinner table was set for a meal that was never eaten. An overturned chair suggested a hasty departure. The keepers' foul-weather gear was gone, indicating they left together in a storm. But the last log entry spoke of calm seas. To this day, no one knows what happened to them. This legendary case set a precedent for the kind of fear and speculation that surrounds any story of a missing keeper. Now, let's bring it back to the Outer Banks. While we don't have a single famous case quite like the Flannan Isles, what we do have are numerous accounts and local legends of keepers who mysteriously disappeared or met with unexplained fates. These stories are woven into the very fabric of the coast. Was it the crushing loneliness and psychological strain of the job? The Outer Banks were remote, and communication with the outside world was minimal. A keeper could go weeks without seeing another soul besides his assistants. This profound isolation could take a heavy toll on a person's mental state. Some historians suggest that disputes between keepers, confined to a tiny space for months on end, could have escalated with tragic consequences. Then there's the sea itself. The most logical explanation for many of these disappearances is that a keeper was swept away by a rogue wave. Imagine stepping outside for a moment, perhaps to check on equipment or simply to get a breath of fresh air, when a massive, unexpected wave crashes over the island, dragging you into the churning abyss. In a place called the graveyard of the Atlantic, this is a tragically plausible scenario. There would be no witnesses, no chance of rescue. The sea would simply swallow them whole, leaving behind an empty lighthouse and an enduring mystery. But local lore often whispers of more supernatural explanations. The Outer Banks is a place steeped in tales of ghosts and strange apparitions. Many of the shipwrecks off the coast were horrific events, and it's said that the spirits of drowned sailors still haunt the shores. Are the lighthouses, these beacons in the dark, magnets for paranormal activity? There are countless stories of keepers hearing phantom footsteps on the spiral staircases, seeing shadowy figures in the lantern room, or hearing disembodied voices on the wind. Could it be that some keepers didn't just vanish, but were taken by something not of this world? One specific legend from the Currituck Beach Lighthouse tells of a keeper's daughter who drowned in the ocean. Her ghostly laughter is sometimes said to be heard by visitors. While not a story of a vanishing keeper, it highlights the deep-seated belief that these structures are haunted. Could a terrifying paranormal encounter have driven a keeper to flee into the stormy night, never to be seen again? Or could it have driven them mad? While we can't prove these ghostly tales, they add a compelling and chilling layer to the mystery. They speak to the profound sense of awe and fear that these isolated places inspired. Let's consider another possibility. Foul play from outsiders. Lighthouses, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries, were sometimes targets for wreckers. These were people who, according to some tallies, would deliberately extinguish a light to cause a ship to run aground, allowing them to plunder its cargo. If a keeper stood in their way, they wouldn't hesitate to remove the obstacle permanently. Imagine a group of wreckers arriving at the lighthouse under the cover of a storm. A brief keeper trying to defend his post would stand little chance. They could have been taken and disposed of at sea, with their disappearance blamed on the weather. As technology advanced, the need for resident lighthouse keepers dwindled. Automation took over in the mid-20th century. The clockwork mechanisms were replaced by electric motors, the oil lamps by powerful electric bulbs. The era of the lighthouse keeper came to a quiet end. The towers became silent, automated monuments. While this made the lighthouses more reliable, it also meant the end of a unique and heroic way of life. The mysteries of the keepers who vanished are now frozen in time, with no new witnesses or evidence likely to emerge. Today, these lighthouses are beloved historical landmarks. Millions of people visit the Outer Banks each year to climb their spiral stairs and take in the breathtaking views. But as you stand at the top, looking out at the vast, endless ocean, take a moment to think about the men who lived and worked there. Think about their solitude, their dedication, and the unexplained mysteries they left behind. Whether they were taken by the sea, driven mad by isolation, victims of foul play, or something else entirely, their stories remind us of the raw and untamed spirit of the coast. The lights are automated now, but the ghosts of the past and the questions surrounding their fates still linger in the salty air. What do you think happened to the vanishing keepers of the Outer Banks? Was it a simple accident, or is there a darker story waiting to be told? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into maritime history.